Welcome to the Syndicate Lending Corporation podcast, where we dive into mortgage, market, and finance-related insights. I'm your host, Laika, and today we have one of our top leading brokers joining us. She's been rocking the mortgage industry ever since 2011 and have successfully closed more than 100 deals. She's a strong woman in this male-led industry. Let's welcome her in, Varsha Sharma.
Hi. Nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us today.
So Varsha, why don't we dive right into it? Why won't you introduce yourself to our viewers for today?
Hi, I'm Varsha Sharma. I'm with Syndicate Lending Corporation. I have been in the industry for 12 years now, and I love what I do. I love helping people, and that's just my goal in this industry.
So Varsha, how exactly did you start into your career? Like, what got you into it? What brought you into mortgage?
So my dad is a realtor, and while I was in school pursuing a degree in something completely different, he said, why not do this? Because I used to help him with his real estate mortgage stuff. He's also a licensed broker. And he said, why not do this to help pay your tuition rather than student loans? And I said, okay. And initially, I'm not going to lie, I didn't love it because I wanted to pursue my degree and help people. So I was in health sciences, I wanted to help people in the healthcare industry. But over time, I learned that I don't have to help somebody from a health perspective. I grew in this career instead. I grew my skills and I grew my, my knowledge and everything. I learned how to help people financially, which is why it's still very fulfilling.
It's a different industry, but at least you still get to
help people.
Your
goal,
so it feels help people.
So it feels good, and it's always
That's so good. That's so good. Could you describe your typical day as a mortgage broker?
Yeah, I do plan out my day the night before. I do have very specific tasks that I know I have to complete during the day. So I can't say that every day is the same. It's different based on what's going on, based on what deals are happening, based on what clients need my attention or who I have to meet on any particular day. I mean, essentially, my day starts off with, I'll be honest, as soon as I wake up, the first thing I do within the first half an hour is I get ready to start work. Started and be ahead of the curve and kind of help clients out as quickly as possible. And sometimes people need your attention sooner rather than later, so.
I guess it definitely takes a lot of discipline as well, because having to manage your own time and all of that, right?
It does. See, the thing is, I can work like 80 hours and still not get paid. It's not like a regular job. So discipline is so important because you do have to know that you have to put into the work in order to make sure your business thrives.
Yeah. With that being said though, what would you say your best 3 personal habits that kept you successful in your career?
My best 3 habits. I think one is being positive. Just because I know there's a lot of instances, the industry has gone up and down. I mean, from when it started to now, there have been so many drastic changes that have completely changed the industry. So I think staying positive is a really big one, especially for clients that sometimes freak out or need a little bit of extra advice or attention, or other people, other brokers, and just being positive about what's going on and figuring out a solution. That's how I feel that I always am able to work out a solution one way or the other. It's because maintaining that positivity really helps rather than spiraling downwards and be like, this sucks, I can't do this.
It allows you to look for a way in every single situation that you're in. How about the second one?
The second one is, I want to say I've learned how to separate my personal life from my work life.
Oh, that's good.
And I had to do that because being so invested in my clients and my business and not having time for myself drove me to burnout. And then once you're burned out, you're not at that high functioning level where you can help your clients at 100%, right? So I had to learn to draw a line and draw a boundary and take time for myself and my own personal habits and my own personal things to feel fulfilled in other ways that are not just career focused or client focused or anything like that.
And it's such a very fine line too, right? Because you mentioned that you like helping, at the core of it, you like helping. So it's very personal.
It is.
And it's quite hard to distinguish it sometimes from career.
I was just gonna say it took me a long time to learn that.
Yeah.
Because before, when I didn't have that boundary, I used to take things so personally. And you can't really do that in this industry. You can't really do that with people. And I don't mean take things personally as in like get angry or anything. I didn't take things personally, as in like if something wasn't working out for a client, I would like feel so deeply, I'd be like, no, you know. But it can't be like that. You have to be like, no, it's okay, right? You can only do as much as you can do, and if my goal is to help people, I know at the end of the day I'm gonna help people. So just maintaining that balance is helps.
But I love that you're very passionate with like helping people as well, because I think that's like a key ingredient on what made you successful for all these years.
I agree, and it took, that's the crazy thing. Like when I first started, like I said, I wasn't a fan of this industry. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm not really a salesperson. I can't be like, take this, try this, like this is useful for you. I had to change my perspective and being like, hey, I can help people. I can help people in this way. I can help people. I can share my knowledge. I can help you grow. I can help your family. Like that's what helped me thrive. Like you're completely correct. Like if I had looked at it from a transactional perspective, I don't know where I'd be today.
How about the last personal habit that you keep?
Okay, the last personal habit I actually learned from my mentor and business partner, Inam.
Yeah.
He taught me, if you don't ask, the answer will always be no.
Wow.
So I used to always be very shy and being like, hey, what do you think of this? Or do you think, or pass a deal this way, or hey, I can help out this way. And he used to be like, why are you shy? The worst thing that anybody can ever say to you is no, right? You can always offer, but if they say no, then that's okay. You move on. It shouldn't be that you should be worried to ask, I was like, wow, that's a really, really good perspective. So now I do ask, because if you don't ask, then it'll always be no. And I have found that more often than yes, at least one person will say, hey, yeah.
It really helps to overcome that fear of rejection in a way, in this field especially.
For sure.
It's definitely key to being successful. And how is it like though, being like a woman in this like male-led industry? Does that make a difference for you, or does it empower you in a way?
Luckily, the people that I have worked with, most of the people I've worked with, don't look at it like, hey, you're a female, I'm a male, I am more dominating. It is definitely more dominated by men, but I have had the pleasure of working with a lot of wonderful women in this industry, and a lot of wonderful men as well that don't make me feel inferior for being a woman. There are obviously some people out there that do feel that women are inferior. You can kind of pick up that vibe, but I feel more often than not, I think majority of the people in this industry are here to help you thrive and grow, and it's a great industry in terms of helping each other out. I know I can reach out to like another broker and say, hey, what do you think of this, or can you help me on this? And I will have that support.
And one of the last thing for this category of this podcast, just getting to know you, is just what would you say to people, for the people that wants to be like a mortgage broker like you as well?
I would say try it out. Look into it, see if it's something that you want to do. I always say, if it's something that you think you're interested in, try it out. I have some family members that had thought about it, and I was like, hey, do it. Try it out. See how you like it. See how you like helping people. See how you like how the industry is, and the rates and the math. And I've always been like a math geek. So if you're a math geek, you love this.
So good. But yeah, that was pretty much it for the first part of our podcast interview, and we're gonna be back for more. At Syndicate Lending Corporation, we understand the importance of finding the perfect place to call home. Our team works tirelessly to tailor the best mortgage solutions for you. With our expertise and dedication, we make the complex simple, turning your dreams into reality. Syndicate Lending Corporation, your trusted partner in securing your future. Contact us today and let's make your homeownership dreams a reality together. We're still here with Varsha, and we are going to be diving into the mortgage questions, one of the highlights of this video, in which we ask Varsha everything about mortgage. So Varsha, just to start, for those people that are not familiar that may be watching right now, how can you define mortgage? What is it?
In the most non-technical terms, a mortgage is essentially a loan placed against your home by a financial institution or a bank or a credit union. Essentially what it is, to give an example, let's say person A wants to buy a house. And of course, nobody has, just $500,000, $600,000 sitting in their bank. I mean, some people probably do, but most people, probably don't. Right? Most people probably don't. So how it works is you have a certain portion of the purchase price, which is considered your down payment for what you're buying the home. And the balance of that is your mortgage. And what you're doing is you're paying interest on that mortgage to the financial institution, to the bank, to the lender that has lent you that money for a certain period of time. Usually always there's a term and an amortization period. So the term ranges from 1 to 5 years. Amortization period is anywhere from 25 to 30 years, and that's how long it essentially takes to pay off the mortgage. That will be the life of the mortgage. But the term changes based on how long your term is, and that's why your interest rate consistently changes over that period of time. And you can also choose to extend your amortization over that time as well. So a mortgage is essentially a loan from the bank against your home that you are paying off.
Sweet. And that pretty much tells us, right, that we don't need like a very huge amount sitting in our bank account, that home ownership is actually something that is attainable even by, I would say, normal people. But that's pretty much what mortgage is. Like, I think at the end of the day, as if you have or you were able to save for that down payment, it's definitely achievable.
For sure. As long as you can. I mean, the thing is, you only need 5% on the first 500,000, 10% on the balance, and then anything over $1 million, you need 20% down. But still, that's still a fraction of the cost of a home. And I know it's not as simple as saying, hey, I can accumulate this much to purchase for this much, right? But that's why we have products that are as low as 5% down, because a client can go in 5% down and purchase, the home of their dreams.
That's good to know. And, a lot of people, though, when they hear about mortgage, especially like mortgage brokers, they tend to run away from it because of the lack of information. And, they tend to think that if you use a mortgage broker, or if you use a mortgage brokerage service like us, that they would have to pay even more. And so could you educate us very quickly, as well as our audience, on how it works for having a mortgage broker and how it helps?
For sure. I mean, it helps because as mortgage brokers, we have access to all the lenders, right? We have all your A lenders. We have all our financial institutions such as Scotiabank, TD, credit unions such as Envision, Community Savings. We have monoline lenders, which, people hear them, what's a monoline lender? But monoline lenders are great because they are still regulated by the same, the same services that regulate our financial institutions and our credit unions. They're just a little bit more on the smaller scale in terms of how they do financing. And with them, it's not like banking. It's not all-inclusive banking and this and that. It's specifically catered to financing your mortgage, which is why they are able to offer better rates. And then we have B lenders, alternative lending, private lending. So the thing is, with us as brokers, we always have a solution. And it's not that we're paying higher rates or that a client will be paying more or anything with us. It's the same as if you would go to any specific bank or financial institution. And the thing is, we have the ability to shop around, and that's what gives us our edge, because I can say, hey, bank A and bank B have two different rates, and let's take you to the one that's lower because it makes the most sense for you. Or let's take you to bank B because they have a product that makes more sense for you in your specific situation, right? So it allows us to be creative with a client rather than walking into one of the bigger banks.
And especially because if they are kind of stuck with just a certain bank, the bank can only offer as much as their products as well. Whereas having a mortgage broker really allows you to dive deeper into all the products that is available in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of getting paid, which I think a lot of clients are concerned about, it's a broker, there's money, there's extra money going into it. It's not necessarily that. I mean, if we can go, we have, like I said, we are connected to a lot of lenders. And how it works is the lenders actually just pay us a finder's fee. So a lot of times the client doesn't pay anything out of pocket. And a lot of clients are surprised because they're like, oh, we don't have to pay anything. No, you don't have to pay us anything.
Yeah.
There are situations, don't get me wrong, where of course there are broker's fees involved or lending fees involved, which, are the more complicated deals or the alternative lending or the private lending. Those usually entail a fee, again, not paid to the broker though, generally paid to the lender, where the lender pays us. So it's not that we're here being like, hey, fork out $500 and I'll get this done. It's not like that, right? It's just that, we do this service for you and the lender generally pays us. And there may be a fee to pay the lender and then the lender pays us, but that's generally how it works.
That's good. That's good to know, because I know when I was like new to the whole mortgage knowledge and industry as well, I thought that it was an upfront payment or even just getting to find a deal, right? I thought it would require like a huge ton of money just to speak with a mortgage brokerage like this, and getting to know that information is really valuable.
For sure. Yeah, no, it doesn't. Consultations generally, they don't cost a dime.
Yeah.
You walk in, you want to explore your options, and that's what you do. You come to us for help, not to be, put in a position where you're worried about money,
All right, and moving on to the next question that I have for you, it's more of a insight on, could you share a success story of a client you helped secure a tricky finance situation?
I'll be honest, there's a lot that have been tricky. It's kind of my bread and butter.
Yeah.
I did have this one deal that was very tricky, and it took the cooperation of not only one of a really good lender that we work with, but also the cooperation of the client. And he was not, unfortunately, getting financed anywhere. I can't say too many details because of privacy issues, but let's just say he wasn't getting financed because of how long he was in his position at work. And it was the type of position where generally lenders would need a 2-year average. But because he had been in the industry for longer than he had been in this specific position, we were able to make an exception with a lender where it was less than that 2-year average, but we were still able to use his income and make an exception to make it work. And he was so happy because he himself, first-time home buyer, he had a wife, he had a baby on the way. I mean, he was incredibly happy because he was continued to be told that, hey, we can't help you. You're in this position and it sucks. And he came to me and I was like, hey, don't worry, we'll figure this out. And we did. And it was with a prime lender as well. It was a monoline lender and they're great. I mean, they have great rates and great products. So yeah, they helped make it work for us and the client was just very happy. And right before he moved in, his baby was born, and
Wow.
Yeah.
That is such a sweet story.
Yeah.
And I think like just thinking about it in the perspective or the shoes of the client, like you lose all the hope, and then having like a trusted mortgage broker like you and some of our teams as well, like Ina and Sina, it's truly valuable to have you guys because it's something that is a milestone, especially for when you're starting a family as well, right? It's having a house and having that situation and getting it all together is a very tricky situation, but you were able to pull it off.
Yes.
I can't imagine how grateful he was to you ever.
Oh, very grateful. Yeah. I mean, and that's why I love, my clients. That's why I love helping people, because it's that feeling of,
very
I was
fulfilling.
able to, yes, definitely very fulfilling.
What is your biggest advice for people that are actually first-time home buyers?
My biggest advice, please do not finance a vehicle. I mean, that's something I run into so much. People, I get it. Like, I know you're a growing family. Having a vehicle is very important. I understand that. But financing a vehicle right before you make a big purchase like a home is very detrimental because we have to use that against you as a liability. So it unfortunately affects how much you are able to buy for, right? So I would say that if you are planning on buying a vehicle, like a brand new vehicle, you're financing a vehicle or leasing a vehicle, I'd say hopefully if you are able to wait until after the transaction is complete. And if not, then give it some room in between the two things that you are doing. Don't buy a car and then 6 months later you're going to buy a house, because that's definitely going to affect what we're trying to help you with. Ask me as many questions as you want. I know sometimes first-time homebuyers are a little bit more on the shy side, and they'll call and be like, hey, I'm so sorry for bugging you. And I'm like, hey, you're never bugging me. Ask me 1,000,001 questions if you want, because I'm here to help you through this process. You know, that's all I can do to help you feel comfortable in this huge investment that you are taking part in.
That's actually very valuable information, because I think for most of us, especially those that are just starting our careers, right? Like, our first achievement most of the time is having a car.
Right.
Like having that ownership or title over a car.
Yes.
It's something that like fulfills us. Like, it's not a house yet, but there's a car.
Yeah, I know.
You know? And I didn't know until now even. Like, for me, I'm getting educated on this one as well, that's actually something that doesn't help much when it comes to like getting your mortgage assessed.
Right.
Everything. And I think that's a valuable piece of information that you just dropped in there.
Hopefully.
But that does make so much sense.
Yes.
Like, get your self-assessed mortgage first, and then this one comes after, if there is a room.
I mean, it depends on, like, of course, the client's plan. I mean, we're not here to judge and be like, how dare you do this? But at the same time, if I did have a piece of advice, I would say that, hey, if you're looking to buy a home in the near future, explore kind of what your numbers look like before investing in financing a car or leasing a vehicle for the next 5-7 years, just because it does definitely affect what you qualify for.
And just one last question for this part. Can you provide just an example of a particularly rewarding moment or accomplishment in your career as a mortgage broker?
Frankly, I don't know. There's been a few. I had this one client a few years ago that a lot of people that he had gone to, it's a similar situation, were not able to help him, and he had a home, and he was on the verge of losing his home because, unfortunately, financially, things had not gone his way. And it was really heartbreaking because of that, people were like, this is not something I want to help this person with. I mean, it was tough, right? To kind of help that client out of that situation. But I stuck with him. We worked through it. I mean, it took a good 2 years to get him to that next level of his life, where we got him out of that position where now he's not going to lose his house. We figured out his financial situation. We figured out how to refinance him again at a better rate, so he's more comfortable and has more cash flow and consolidate his debt. And he was extremely grateful. And frankly, he has since then, and it's been about 4 years, he's been my client ever since. Everything that he does, he'll always come to me first. And I'm grateful for him as well, because he's also helped me grow as a broker, but also as a person. And that was very rewarding, because if I can help somebody and help them reach this next level, this next phase in their life, rather than going the other way and losing everything they have based on certain financial decisions, then I'm so happy to do that. And it's not that, and the reason it was so rewarding is it was very tough. And it took a lot to bring everything together and put everything together, and then consistently work on it with this specific client for such a long period of time. But that's why it was so rewarding, because I was able to help somebody when nobody else was able to help them. And that's something that this client has said to me time and time again. Hey, nobody was there, and you were there to help me out of this situation and then grow from that situation. And he'll always be grateful for that, so will I.
Wow, that's so good. And I could just imagine it. I bet that truly fulfills you in a way, that being able to help him when no one was there to like help him. And I think that's something that he will definitely like treasure for most of his entire lifetime. And I think that's one of the best thing about being the mortgage industry as well, so that you could not only give a value to other people, but you could definitely like change the entire course of someone's life just through the method of helping them.
Yes, exactly.
Finding the best finance decision or the finance path for them.
For sure.
That's so good. That's so good. And that's for our mortgage questions with Varsha. And we are going to be moving on to the last part of our podcast very soon. So stay tuned.
Business owners need a loan to grow? Go to the ones who's also been in the industry. At Syndicate Lending Corporation, we speak your language. Success is your story, and we're here to help you write it. Ready to make those dreams a reality? Apply now at Syndicate Lending Corporation. Consultations free.
All right, and we're back here at Syndicate Lending Podcast, and we're still here with Varsha, and we are going to be diving into the last part of our podcast for today, which is going to be our case question. Basically, we're going to be covering some questions that has been asked to us, and we're going to get Varsha over here to try and ask and give a little bit of advice in regards to these questions. And so the first one that I have in here, I'm just going to read it word for word. How can I afford a mortgage? I'm a single guy who makes $115,000 a year, which is supposed to put me in top 8% earners in Canada. My bank won't give me a mortgage for anything more than 4 times my income. There is basically no house that costs anywhere near $460,000 in this market. The ones that cost $500,000 are sold at maybe $50K over asking. Are my only options to either 1, make the income of a CEO, or 2, to get married to someone so my income can double and I can afford more home? This is insane to me. There must be another way. How can you help that guy, Varsha? It is a very tough situation indeed.
It is. So what I would say in that situation is it is tough. And earning that amount of income, it's great. It's just, I know a lot of people have income and want to go straight into a house, but sometimes you have to start on a smaller scale. That's what my advice would be. If you can start with a condo, and then because I feel that homes in Vancouver, ever since I've been born and brought up, have gained equity. The equity continues to grow because you can't really create more land, right? So at the end of the day, the values of homes, I feel, will continue to go up.
Yeah.
So whether you purchase a townhome or a condo or a home, the equity will continue to build. So my advice is, start small. You have enough to qualify for a condo, or maybe even a small townhome outside of Vancouver, and then grow from there. And continue to build equity in your home, continue to build your real estate portfolio. And once you have enough equity, you will be in a position where, hey, you can upgrade and move into a home. Well, I wouldn't say upgrade. I mean, I know some people love their townhomes and their condos, but if that's your preference, that's how I would go about it. And then there's also other things that we can do. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have a spouse. I mean, if you have a good friend that makes money and you both want to invest on an investment property, we can use your income as well as rental income. Things like that. Like, we can get creative in that way where it doesn't have to be just, hey, I'm buying this to live in it and whatever. There's other ways to grow your real estate portfolio and investment portfolio, and that's definitely one of the ways to do it. And I feel that you do have, like, that sounds like a very healthy amount of income, and it may not be enough for a house in Vancouver, but just start small and grow.
Yeah. All right. We're moving on to the next question over here. Bankruptcy or pay off debt? I took a loan out with, I'm not gonna say the name, and I know I was young and stupid, but now I am in a serious debt with them. I owe them around 11K including interest. I also owe another 10K for student loans, and I'm wondering what's my best option right now. Should I file for bankruptcy? My credit isn't even that great anyway, or should I try to pay it off before they send me to small claims court? I'm currently employed after a few years of being unemployed, but my net income per month is less than $3,000. I need some serious advice, please. I think this is more towards a finance type of question, but I know most of the people that are coming to you as well as a client, they tend to come with these types of questions, right?
They do, and I would always say, don't declare bankruptcy. Because unfortunately, it will plague you for years. It'll show up on your credit bureau, and then once you see bankruptcy, it's just very hard to convince. I mean, it's a hard no for most lenders, to be frank here. and it's hard to convince a lender, hey, this person needs a mortgage and we'll make their mortgage payments when they've already gone through bankruptcy, right? So it affects your credit and your credibility. So I would say don't declare bankruptcy. I understand like the constraint of having a certain amount of income per month. I would say do your best to budget that amount as best as you can and try to pay things down. I mean, the good thing about the student loans is a forgiveness period. I don't recall what it's called.
It's repayment assistance plan.
Repayment assistance plan.
Yeah.
So if you're in that situation, there's always repayment assistance, and the government will help you pay that. Not to mention that's a zero interest loan now. And then with the credit card, I would say just try to pay it try to pay it down on a monthly basis as much as you can, and try to not spend on it essentially. So budgeting would be key in this situation. If you can get repayment assistance to take care of your student loan at this point in time, then what you have to focus on is your living expenses, your life expenses, but also putting a little bit aside to pay off that debt. I would not say in this situation to declare bankruptcy. I mean, I would highly advise against it in most situations. But for this specific situation, I would say I would not declare bankruptcy. It would just have to be a situation where you have to figure that out, or even speak to your current lender. I mean, they have also debt consolidation solutions, not debt consolidation as in consumer proposal, but debt consolidation in terms of, I know that certain lenders offer products where the interest rate is not so high because you need that extra assistance, and then you can make monthly payments towards that.
Do you think for this person there is still hope for them to potentially be a homeowner one day?
There's hope for everybody. There's hope for anybody and everybody. Like, that's the thing. Like, I know it seems hard and crazy, and I mean, I can understand why somebody would feel hopeless. Like, I can see that and I can understand that, but there's always ways that we can help. That's what we're here to do. It's not about being hopeless. Anybody can be a homeowner, and we can figure out a plan to help you do that. You know what I mean? So don't give up hope. We may need to lower expectations, like in some capacity, of course. But it's still something, right? So
that's a good. And that's pretty much it for our case questions and our whole interview podcast for today. Varsha, do you have any final words? Do you want to make them go to your Instagram account, right? You do have as well for your
I do have an Instagram account for my mortgages. It is Varsha the Mortgage Lady. It's a nickname one of my friends that I helped had given me, and it just kind of stuck. So if you need any more mortgage advice, feel free to follow me on Instagram or reach out to Syndicate Lending, and we are happy to help. And I am here to help with what you need help with and figuring out solutions to any issues that you may be having or any financing that you may be looking for.
All right. Thank you so much again, Varsha, for helping us with this podcast. There's definitely lots of valuable information that we've learned today, and I hope our viewers also learned as well. If you guys found this valuable, hit the like button, subscribe to Syndicate Lending Corporation, and comment down below what else are your questions so that we may be able to help find a solution for you. But thank you again for watching. Until next time, see you. Bye.
Bye.